We all do love a good scrap, don't we? And all the Dead by Daylight killers are incredibly powerful. Well, except from one, and they all have their own unique powers and abilities. So to see who's actually the strongest, we're going to put them up against each other in a knockout style tournament, each of which gets paired with another, all picked by random chance, and will continue until there's only one remaining. You're going to want to watch to the end, because there's going to be a few hot takes in this one. Let's get into it. Right, we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. The first matchup is Bubba versus Chucky. Oh, what a matchup. A really big guy against a really small guy. How poetic. Let's run through the different abilities. Bubba, he's quite a big chunky lad. He's got his chainsaw, he's got his height. Although he's a bit stupid, I think. I don't know, that brain doesn't seem like it has much in it. But then again, it doesn't really matter when you're carrying like a massive loud chainsaw. I don't really see that being a bit of an issue when you're holding that thing. And Chucky, well, he's a small guy. He's got his knife. He can slide around this little stealthy bugger. But against someone like Bubba,
oh hell
I
no!
know he is more intelligent, I know he's better in certain aspects, but I think Bubba's gonna take this one, you lot. Chucky, yeah, he's intelligent, he's smart, but Bubba, he's got a chainsaw. You can't really beat that. It is what it is. The second matchup is Doctor versus Ghostface. Let's run through the different abilities. Doctor, he looks like a bit of a mad lad, really. Let's be honest. Who wants to face that thing? That is terrifying. He's got his club and shocked, and he's a bit mental, to be honest. I think, well, if he's done that to himself, something must have gone terribly wrong in the lab. And Ghostface, we all know Ghostface, a little sneaky guy sneaking around all your place, stalking you up while you don't know where he is, getting you exposed. But would that really work in a fight? Doctor, he's probably a lot heavier, probably a lot stronger. Ghostface, his weapon, I don't think he's gonna do the job. Ghostface could jump on him, get him a few flashes in, but Doctor's just gonna pound him, mate. He's gonna get absolutely steamrolled. I'm sorry, Doctor, he's going through. The third matchup is Alien versus Oni. Alien, he's a creature from another planet. He has loads of different abilities. He has acid blood, the massive tail which whips everything. He's got really intense claws. But Oni, he is an actual demigod. Look at that man. He is not being stopped by basically anything. This guy has got a club, a samurai sword, and the muscles of a Greek demigod. I do not think this guy is gonna lose against a little alien. Alien, he's a strong guy. I mean, if he whips him with his tail, it might go one way if he gets him in the neck or in the head. But on most chances, Oni's gonna wipe the floor, to be honest. The fourth matchup is Hillbilly versus Pinhead. Now, I think this one is going more to the license. Hillbilly, he's got his chainsaw. He's a bit of a mobile lad. He can sort of speed across the map. He knows exactly where he's going all the time. I don't know how intelligent he is, though. He is inbred, isn't he? And Pinhead, he is a interdimensional being. Pinhead, he can really do what he wants. He's got his chains. He can just whip his chains around. Honestly, I think Hillbilly will just get torn up. I mean, Pinhead, he can literally teleport. I'm sorry, if that isn't an OP power, I don't know what is. Bro, it is not gonna go the way for Hillbilly, man. Sorry, Hillbilly. Yeah, getting flattened by the bald fuck. The sixth matchup is Nemesis versus the Demogorgon. Demogorgon's strong. I mean, bro literally took a squadron of soldiers on by himself and didn't even flinch. The only thing that could even damage him was some flames. Now, I don't think Nemesis has any of those, but then again, he does have his club stompers and his Thanos fists. I mean, Nemesis, as I've heard, can take rockets and basically everything. Can take nuclear explosions and stuff like that. Nemesis, he is an actual beast and will rip the poor demo doggy in half. That it is what it is. You can't fight against a man who looks like Thanos. I'm sorry, Demogorgon. You're going in the bin, mate. The seventh is Sadako versus the Artist. Now, each of these guys has their really particular powers. Sadako, she can literally teleport through TVs. She's able to phase through dimensions and become unhittable, while the Artist just controls a few birdies. I mean, if that seems like a fair fight, you've got it all wrong in your head. Sadako could literally phase through the Artist and hit her in the back. I don't see very many weaknesses to Sadako unless somehow the Artist tries to stop her within the 7 days of the TV stuff. But even still, I think Sadako's taking a bag here, to be honest. The eighth matchup is Blight versus Skull Merchant. Oh, the battle of the lads without many powers. Blight he's got his goo and he can infect basically everything with it. Have you seen the blighted skins? Yeah, I don't think anything wants to become like right there. And Skull Merchant, she's got her drones. She can maybe make you injured if you stand in it too long. Now, Blight, he is pretty smart. I don't think he'd fall for that. And he'd probably just go and ping pong around, hit her in the back. Skull Merchant hasn't really got anything against him. Blight, he's too fast to handle. The 8th is Plague versus Dredge. The Plague's entire power relies around making people sick. Now, Dredge isn't really a being. He can't really be made sick. He's just a puff of smoke in the wind with some flesh attached to him. Maybe if you like dumped him in it, but I don't think Plague has that much vomit. Plus, Dredge can teleport. He can literally go almost invisible in his nightfall mode. The Plague's gonna have no idea what hit him, mate. Dredge, he's going through. The 9th matchup is Pig versus the Singularity. Pig, we know her. She sneaks around. She puts traps on people's heads. She slashes them up when they're not looking. But the Singularity, he's Dead by Daylight's E.T. really, isn't he? He's a space being. He can shoot meatballs out of his arm. He's got massive metal claws and spikes and stuff. Maybe if Pig stealthily put a bear trap on his head or something. But that's a bit far-fetched. So I think the win is going to the Singularity. The 10th matchup is Freddy Krueger versus the Clown. Now, the Clown's really got nothing for him. He's a big lad. He's not going to be very fast. Yes, he's got his bottles, but they're not really going to slow Freddy down, are they? They're just bottles at the end of the day. Plus, Freddy is literally a dream dimension being. I don't know what you call him. He can drift between the real and dream world. He can possess people in their dreams. Now, Clown looks like the type of guy that takes a slumber every now and again. So, I mean, when Clown falls asleep, I think he's finished, mate. But if Clown met him in the outside, met him in the open, might be quite a fair fight. But I still think it's going to Freddy. He has too much going for him. Clown, you're fucked, mate. And next, we have the best killer in the game. The Hag versus the Nurse. The attack of the frail lads. Hag, she's got a claw, but she is your grandma, let's be honest. Look at her. She's frail. She's got like some witch traps and stuff. But other than that, she is, at the end of the day, you could break her in half with your bare hands. While Nurse has got a little bit more going for her. Well, for one, she can teleport. I mean, if that's not one of the best powers you can have, what is? And also, she has a bone saw. Pretty sure you can chop Hag in half with that bone saw, to be perfectly honest. I don't think that needs much work to chop her in half. And Nurse has got some other things. If she was on the back foot, she could run away. She could teleport away, heal up, come back to fight. Hag probably needs more than a decade to get better. So, let's go into the Nurse. Next, we have the big lad, Pyramid Head, versus another big lad, the Trapper. Now, Trapper, he's got his bear traps. He's very precise with his movements most of the time. He's also a very burly lad. I mean, he's got bear spikes in his literal back. He's also got that slashy weapon, that sword looking thing. But when you take into account that Pyramid Head is basically unkillable, Trapper's got really nothing going for him. He can't trap Pyramid Head in a bear trap. It can't happen, I'm sorry, it won't work. And Pyramid Head, he's got his massive cleaver thing. Okay, yeah, he is blind, but he's another interdimensional being, so he might also have his eyesight. We don't know. All we know is he has Bunda. Pyramid Head, he's taking the cake here. Up next, it's the Trickster versus the Knight. Trickster, he's got his knives. He's very good at throwing them. He has a baseball bat. He's got his looks. But the Knight has literally got every single buff possible. He's got armor to defend against the knives. He's got extra people to help him in the fight. And he's also got his massive greatsword. I feel like if Trickster stays at a range for a long time, it might do something. Might chip away his armor. But as soon as Knight uses geezers to close the gap, box him in, sandwich him in a corner, Trickster, you're getting absolutely fumbled, my guy. I'm sorry, you're not winning this fight, bruv. And next, another great fight. Huntress versus Myers. Huntress, as I've also been told, has taken on entire squadrons, taken on armies and beat them. She's really good at throwing her hatchets. She knows exactly where they're going. But Myers, do I even have to explain? He is the physical image of evil. He is unkillable. He's a big man in general. He's silent. He is pure evil. You can't beat him. So even though Huntress, she might be strong, she might be taking on armies, but Myers, he's on another level. Bro is a different being. Next, we've got Wesker versus Spirit. This is gonna be a tough one. Spirit has many things going for her. She can phase in and out of existence. Her body parts are literally detached, so I don't know how that's gonna work. Whether she even needs to be together to fight, I don't know. But she can just phase in, hit him, phase out, heal up, and then phase back in and hit him again. But then again, if Wesker grabs her, I think it's game over. Wesker can use his Ouroboros, slow her down, slash her with his knife a bit more, and as soon as he grabs her, game's done. She can slammed into a wall, infected, slashed up. Wesker, you're doing this for us, lad. Next, we've got Wraith versus Twins. Wraith, he can go invisible. He has the element of surprise. He's got his bone mace, which he can whack her with. He can bing bong out, hit her, bing bong again, run away. But Twins, she has two people. Now, even though Wraith is invisible, that doesn't mean he's invincible. Victor could jump on his head, and Charlotte could rip his legs off. Wraith is not a very powerful guy. He looks a bit slim. He looks a bit frail. I'm sorry, Wraith. You're a great guy. But Twins is going through. And last of all, in the opening matches, it's Deathslinger versus the Legion. Deathslinger might seem like the easy choice here, but when you look further, it might seem more complicated than that. Deathslinger, yeah, he can harpoon one of them, absolutely slash them up. But you gotta remember, the Legion is 4 people. Yeah, they might be teenagers. They might not be very strong, but they're 4 people with knives against one guy with a spear gun. Deathslinger has to reload. Legion don't. Legion can box him in, sandwich him. It's really not looking good for Deathslinger here. He might be able to get 1 or 2 of them down, but the Legion are just gonna gang him, and then he's gonna be wedged deep in the bin. It's a 4v1 at the end of the day. So it is going to the Legion. That is the end of the opening matches. Let's jump into the top 16s. First up, we've got Bubba versus the Doctor. Now, we've gone through Bubba. He isn't a very smart lad, but he's big. He's got a chainsaw. Bro wields a chainsaw. Now, Doctor, he's got his shocking. He might make Bubba go even more mad. He might do that. And he's got his spike stick, and he might look a bit menacing, but Bubba don't care, mate. Bubba's gonna slash him up. 100%. Bubba's gonna destroy him. The Doctor can make him go mad, but Bubba's just gonna get even more enraged. Bro's gonna go into his tantrum, and Doctor's gonna kick the bucket. That's gonna be how it's gonna be. Next up, we got Oni versus Pinhead. Now, this is a sad one for Oni, because Pinhead is an interdimensional being. He can't really be killed. Oni, he is very strong. He's got the Greek demigod veins and muscles. He's got all that going for him. He's got his club, but he hasn't really got the intelligence to solve the box, and that's basically all that makes Pinhead go away. Pinhead, he's gonna send him to the Shadow Realm as well. Next up, Nemesis versus Sadako. Again, a very strong player against another interdimensional being. Nemesis, he's very strong against physical attacks. Nemesis, he's got his fists. He can survive rocket blasts. He can take most stuff, most physical things he can take. But Sadako, she can literally phase through matter. She can't be beaten, really, especially not by Nemesis. All of Nemesis's attacks won't really reach her. So Sadako, she's gonna take this win. Next up, got Blight versus the Dredge. Blight, quite a frail lad. Probably got a big brain on him, seeing he's made all that serum and he's made everyone else go insane. But Dredge isn't really a thing. What is he? He's just smoke at the end of the day. The Dredge will probably just intake him, you know. Poor Blight's gonna get caught after that. He's getting absorbed. Dredge, you're going through to the quarterfinals, my guy. Singularity versus Freddy. Singularity, we know what he's got. He's got his new alien tech. He can maybe shoot Freddy with a meatball. But at the end of the day, Singularity's very good against physical beings. Freddy can literally attack him in his dreams. Freddy's got the upper hand here, unless Singularity might be able to pull him back into the real world, which might happen. But he's leaning more towards Freddy, so I'm gonna give it to Freddy on this one. Next, it's Nurse versus Pyramid Head. Now this is just unfair. How can we be doing this to poor Nurse? Nurse, you might be able to teleport. You've got your little bone saw. But Pyramid Head is an invincible god. I'm sorry. Nurse, you're done. And next up, Knight versus Myers. Quite a similar situation. Myers is the incarnation of evil. He can't really be killed. He's just there. So, Knight, you might be able to slash him with your greatsword, my guy. But I don't think it's going to do anything. Myers is just going to stare at you from afar and just completely tear you to pieces. Sorry, Knight, you gotta go. And last up, in these top 16s, we got a 3-man. We got Wesker versus Twins versus Legion. Wesker, he's very strong. He's got his serum. Twins, on the other hand, there's 2 of them. Legion, there's 4 of them. This could go all sorts of ways here. Twins, sorry to say, I think you're going to be the first ones to go. You don't look very intelligent. And Victor, someone's going to kick him, let's be honest. Wesker's just going to throw him against the wall and absolutely batter him. Or the Legion's going to just surround him. He can't really do anything. And Charlotte, she's just a regular human at the end of the day. Bit bulkier, maybe a bit stronger, got the scythe. Maybe going to damage one of the Legion, but that's a bit far-fetched. So, Twins, you're going to be the first one out. So then, it's going to be Wesker versus Legion. Wesker has a very big advantage. He is very, very strong. He can literally throw Legion all across the map, and Wesker can probably damage multiple people at once with his infection. So, Legion, although there's 4 of you, although you have weapons, Wesker, he's a very strong lad. He's also got a knife. He can throw using his Ouroboros. Wesker's going through. Now we're moving into the quarterfinals. The first matchup is Bubba versus Pinhead. Bubba, you've got this far, mate. You're doing great. But now you've sort of met your match here. Pinhead, he can just go back to his other dimension. He can send you to the Shadow Realm. He can just go and he can leave, regenerate, and come back. And then use his intensely powerful chains to tie you up. Pinhead, you got this, mate. Sorry, Bubba. You made it this far. You did great. Chainsaw versus chains and smartness and invincibility. You're not winning that fight. Next, got Sadako versus the Dredge. Sadako, as I've said before, can literally phase through objects. She can phase through objects. Dredge, so can he to a certain extent. He can teleport across the map. He has slashy weapons. He can sort of go into himself and become like a little smoke cloud. But Sadako, still more powerful. She can still rip him apart. Plus, there's no real way to defeat her. You can't really defeat Sadako. I mean, you could, I guess, just turn the TV off. But she's still going to come through eventually. You can't really beat her. I'm sorry, Dredge. Oh, this is going to be a hefty matchup. We got Freddy versus Pyramid Head. Ooh. Now, Freddy is invincible in the dream world, and he can take over people's dreams. But Pyramid Head, he's invincible all of the time. So, Pyramid Head just could take Freddy out of the dream world. Freddy's immortal. He can't really face Pyramid Head. He'd have to run away. But then again, Pyramid Head, he'd just catch up. Freddy, he's going to put you in a spliff, mate. You can't really do anything about this. Pyramid Head, going through. And the last matchup, Myers versus Wesker. Wesker, you're very strong. You might be able to even throw Myers at some point. But Myers is invincible. He's invincible. And I don't think he's going to stop. Myers ain't going to stop. Wesker's going to get tired. Myers is just going to end up slashing him up. It is what it is. Myers, he's literally unkillable. You can't really beat him, no matter what you can do. Myers is going through the semi-finals. Wesker, you're going home, mate. Sorry. And we're into the semi-finals. Pinhead versus Sadako. Ooh, this is where it gets tough. They're both interdimensional beings. They're both very, very strong. Pinhead, Sadako, they all have their special abilities. Pinhead, he can just go back to his realm. Sadako, she's mostly invincible. She can fold through objects. She can do many things. But Pinhead, I think it just takes Sadako back to his realm, honestly. I don't know what would happen to her there, but I don't think she's making it. She's going to lose her invincibility trait, and Pinhead's going to flatten her. Might be a hot take. I don't know. Pinhead's going through. Next up, ooh, the heavyweight matchup we've all been waiting for. Pyramid Head versus Myers. Now, lots of people have made different assumptions on this fight. I'm going to put across my opinion. Pyramid Head, he's incredibly strong. Pyramid Head, not much going to beat him at all. He's got his own dimension. He's got his own punishment. He's only in the entity's realm because he wants to be. But Myers is there because of his evil intent. Myers is there because he is evil. He is the definition of evil. He can't be beaten in any scenario. He always comes back. And even if Pyramid Head might be as strong as him, I feel like Pyramid Head would give up after a while. Myers is just too persistent. His obsession with his foes is too much. And Pyramid Head will either give up or get finished. It is what it is. Myers is going through. And we're into the final. The last matchup. Pinhead versus Myers. Pinhead versus Myers. Pinhead has got weaknesses. He's got his box. I feel like his pins in his head might be something to do with his weakness. I don't know. They might get pushed into his brain. Pinhead has got weaknesses. Myers, on the other hand, does not. Myers, as I've said before, is evil. He is the incantation of evil. He is the evil spirit. He's the definition of evil, he is the evil of the planet. They might both be invincible beings. But Pinhead, I don't think he'd go for this fight. I think he might run away. I think he might leave because he knows how obsessive Myers is. That even if he could win, he just wouldn't. He'd just know that Myers would stay there, would keep going, and would never give up trying to kill Pinhead because of his obsession being so angry and so hard, his evilness running so deep that he just wouldn't keep going. So that means that Myers takes the top spot. Myers has done it. Whew, what a tier list, gamers. I know some of you are going to get angry in the comments about what I've just said. It's my opinion. It is what it is. Now Myers is the top champion. I'll see you in the next one, gamers.